Here with Andy Hrovat, Cliff Keen Wrestling Club coach. You are about a week away, a little more than a week away from the trials. Is this one of your favorite tournaments? The World Team Trials, the Olympic Trials. Is this a fun tournament?
Oh, it's a real fun tournament. It's stressful, getting the guys ready and just being organized and prepared for the trials. But no, it's awesome. I mean, it's determined who goes to the World Championships, and there's a lot of pressure, and there's going to be a lot of good wrestling. So.
All right, you say stressful. This is your second one as a coach. More stressful as an athlete or as a coach?
Oh, more stressful by far as a coach. By far, as an athlete, you worry about yourself. As a coach, you got to worry about everybody. So.
And taking care of everything.
Yeah.
All right, we're sending three guys: Jimmy Kennedy, Kellen Russell, Kyle Massey. How have you seen? Kind of go over each one of those guys. How have you seen them progress, and where are they at going into this tournament?
So we'll start with Jimmy. Jimmy last year at the Olympic Trials didn't do well. He was talented enough. The pressure got to him his first year, but since then, he's kind of had the attitude like, you're right, I am good. I'm just going to go out and win. And so he right away he went. He took third in Chechnya, which is probably arguably the toughest tournament in the world. And then he beat Reese Humphrey at the NYC tournament to win that. And then he went and 2-1 at the World Cup, and we won the Guelph Open. I'm sorry. Then he went 2-1 at the World Cup. And then took second, had lost a heartbreaker in the finals of the Alexander Medved tournament. So I believe he's the only 60-kilo guy to win a medal overseas. He's done it twice this year, and he has a win over the U.S. Open champion. He wasn't able to wrestle at the Open. He had an injury, but he's back now, and he's looking as good as he has all year, and he's ready. And I believe he's the guy for that weight class. To me, I think he has the most talent in the weight class, so I'm excited for him. And then, Kellen Russell, people have been able to, see how he's done. He didn't have a great year all year, and, there was times of the year where, he was getting frustrated, and I kept telling him, I said, look at Jimmy, Jimmy did the same thing, and I've talked about this all year, the two of them, and being able to work out with Jimmy, it's been able to help him get to where Jimmy is faster, and I knew that was going to happen. And so Kellen, he was taking lumps, and he didn't do well at the NYC tournament. He won the Guelph tournament, but then didn't do well at Schultz and didn't do well overseas. And then he went and he had to go through the mini tournament, which I thought was fine because I wanted him to get some good wins under his belt. After having struggled all year. So then he got on a roll, and then he went and won the U.S. Open, and he knows how to compete and he knows how to wrestle, but. He was just making that transition. Certain positions he was losing, and now we've been doing a ton of position work, and again, I believe he's the guy at that weight class, and he's he's proven it, and he lost to Tavgavi in that beat the streets duel, but for someone like Kellen, I believe even just going to wrestle that would be more beneficial than looking at wins and losses. I didn't care if he won or lost. I care that he got the experience, he got to feel Tavgavi, and next time he wrestles him, it's going to be a different story because Kellen learns very fast, and he's able to make those adjustments, and that's why he's able to consistently win at every level. And then Kyle Massey, same thing. He just started competing again, and struggled a little bit during the year at the AC tournament, at the Schultz tournament. He took second in Guelph. And he wasn't able to go overseas this year, but then by the time the U.S. Open came, he was really on point with his offense, and he lost 2 matches this year to Ryan Tomei, and at the U.S. Open he cautioned him out because he was digging underhooks, he was pushing him all over the mat, and he wrestled really well and made the semis. So again, I think Kyle's right there, and he's in great shape, and obviously. Tervel is a really tough person to beat, but he's right there with everybody else in the weight class, and I'm excited for him as well. So.
All right. At this point in your preparation, you were doing 3 days last week. You're down to maybe tapering now. So where are you at in the training, and what's the difference between getting a lot of workouts and a lot of mat time last week, and then starting to maybe wind down this week a little bit?
Yeah, well, you don't want to taper too far out. We're still going hard. We're doing 3 days. So last week it was, short morning workout, 7 a.m. Light jog, sometimes 2 times a week we'll come in here and we'll do some like calisthenics and some plyometrics and stuff like that, just to get the body moving, nothing more than a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then we come back, 10 o'clock, they eat breakfast, you know, their body's warm, and you know, it's like a tournament, you know, you warm up and you get ready, and then you know, you sit around and you have to wrestle your match. So the training we do, so we do it at 7, and we had 10 o'clock practices, and those last week, they were about, you know, an hour and 20 minutes, maybe, and then we would have a 4:30 practice, which would be about the same time, about an hour and 20 minutes. And then this week we cut it back. They've been about 45, 50 minutes, but we're still doing 2-a-days. They're doing their 3rd practice on their own at home. Just wake up, do something light, walk, jog, whatever they want, just to get their body moving. And then, so now we had our last lift today, and then tomorrow's off. And then Friday we have a tournament simulation, and then they're going to do 2 matches in the morning, 2 matches in the evening. You know, Kellen, since he sits out, he'll do 1 in the morning, 2 in the evening.
Okay.
And then they're pretty much free, and then it's going to be like 30 minute practices next week, you know, just real short, just, you know, get those muscles firing, and so they stay sharp, and then, you know, then we travel, and it's go time. It's tournament.
And then you also had several guys in town last week, like Kyle Rochelle was in town, Andy Hrovat was in town, Ben Cares. How important is it, not just for our guys to experience some of these other wrestlers, but kind of freestyle in general for guys to kind of get out and you know, travel around a little bit and train with and wrestle with a variety of different guys?
Yeah, last week was great. You know, obviously we're a new club. You know, we're still trying to figure this all out, but. You know, to have Andrew Howe, Kyle Rochelle, Ben Kerr in the room, it was great, you know, because, you know, when we're doing our 2-a-days, you know, we could utilize the college guys sometimes, but, yeah. You know, with an empty room and you got 3 groups of guys going or 2 groups of guys going in the morning, there's not a lot of intensity. But when you're looking for those intense workout and, you know, you bring some guys in, next thing you know, there's like 12 guys in the room, then, you know, the workouts are a lot better, and, you know, they push each other more, and, you know, I'm excited for those guys at the trials, you know, because it's always nice to be able to work with some people and then see how they do, and yeah, so it's exciting, it's fun.
How has it been transitioning to the new rules? I know they're not, you know, light years different, but you know, has it been a little, you know, has it been an emphasis or a focus in the room at all the last month since they've been announced?
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all. The way I do my training, you know, like I said, it's not a secret. I learned a lot when I went to Russia, and you know, I was able to bring it back, and you know, I see how the best wrestlers in the world train, and you know, and I try to mimic that for these guys, because I believe the way they train and how they train, it promotes wrestling, and they've told me that they've never changed their training. You know, whether it was in the 1970s and 1980s, they've been doing their training the same way since, I want to say, the late 40s, early 50s. You know, and they've been successful under every single set of rules. Yeah. And if they're keeping their training consistent, you know, the first thing I told the guys here, I said, look, I sent them an email when I was in between New York and LA when they changed the rules. I said, hey, look, I said, our goals are the same. I said, our training's going to be the same, and we're not going to deviate one bit. You know, some coaches may have changed this, changed that, but you know, we've had a plan the whole year, and the guys know that plan, and it got them ready for the Open, and it's going to get them ready for the trials. And so our focus is just becoming good at wrestling, and that's what we do. So if you want to focus on the rules and focus on this and that, you know, your training's going to hurt from it. You know, so instead we're just training on, you know, becoming the best wrestlers we can be.
Are you obviously you're interested, but do you like where these new rules are going? Obviously they're continuing to tweak them, and then they announced, I think just yesterday, that they will use overtime.
Yes.
Next week at the trials, and you're a big advocate for that. But do you think it's kind of still an evolving thing as these rules continue to maybe tweak a little bit?
Yeah, it's always going to be an evolving thing until we get it right, because you know, it's 2013, and media is everywhere, and you have access to a lot of information that you haven't had in the past, and that's what Fila doesn't understand, is that us as the world of wrestling, we're more educated, and we have access to more content. We have matches on the internet, we have Flow Wrestling, we have You know, we have a ton of stuff. You know, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, and when the wrestling community speaks, Fila needs to listen. And right now, they're not listening. They're stuck in their ways, and they think that they could tell us what we want. But there's a reason our sport is in the position we're in, and it goes straight back to Fila in the way they used to run things. And in order to get it right, they're going to have to start listening. And the American fans are going to put the pressure on, and I want the American fans to put the pressure on, because if we're going to survive as a sport and we're going to grow as a sport, we need the American wrestling community involved in freestyle wrestling, and that's not going to happen if Fila currently is doing what they're doing, because they come out with a set of rules and then they come tweak the set of rules and they say, oh well, it was like that from the beginning, but it was leaked, and you know, they're like, oh, that document wasn't supposed to be out, and it's. I mean, like I said, the fans are too educated to be bullied around by Fila, where now the IOC wants fans, and the IOC measures everything based on money. The IOC, the Olympics, it's about making money, and to make money you have to have fans, and if you have to have fans, you got to listen to those fans, and that's where I see our sport going, and eventually it's going to get to the point where we are going to have fans, and it's going to be the fans, and the fans are going to have a voice in how the wrestling's scored and how the wrestling's presented and everything.
And it seems like maybe right now, like within the last couple of weeks, that the fans are kind of stepping up, and they're being more vocal, and they're challenging Fila more. Do you see that as a trend picking up some steam?
Oh, it should be big time. It should be big time. And Fila's trying to put a kibosh on it. Fila's like, oh, we need to be united under wrestling. You know, it gives squash ammunition. I don't care if it gives squash ammunition, because if the fans and the coaches and the athletes, if we don't think that these current rules are going to help the sport grow, how are we supposed to sell that, not just to the fans of wrestling, but to casual fans who are flipping through the channels? You know, like if people are watching, you know, the Olympics and they're flipping through and they're like, oh, wrestling, and they're like, well, wrestling's a mess. You know, the governing body's a mess, their fans and everybody, there's a bunch of fighting, this and that. Well, yeah, it doesn't look good, but you know what? You can make it good, and that's going to be the process that we moving forward from now until the Olympics, until September.
Okay, Andy, final word. You looking forward to next week?
Oh, I can't wait. I've been looking for next week for quite some time, and you know, I'm really excited, and you know, I think these guys are ready, and you know, they're ready. You know, they've been training hard, and you know, you could tell that they just want to compete, and it's time. So I think I did a good job getting them ready, and yeah, that's about it.
We'll see. All right, thanks, Andy.